Are you a fan? Tag us and share our show in your IG or Facebook pages in order to win a $50 gift card to a restaurant on us for Valentine's Day. You must be 18 and up to be entered to win, and the winner will be announced on February 5th, 2022. Welcome to the Relationship Cycle with Jorge and Nelsa, where we discuss dating and other significant relationships. Poppy, we're talking about poly what?
Polyamorous dating.
Oh, we are really coming with it this new year.
Hey, listen, these are things that people want to learn about. People are talking about it. There's a lot of chatter, so there's a movement for this. So I want to dig into it.
I know, and our goal, just like with our previous shows, is always helping people navigate relationships. Well, we always say good communication, but if you're not talking about it, how do you know?
Absolutely, and that's probably the issue why a lot of relationships falters, because people don't communicate properly.
Exactly. But today, our guest is Chris, who is a part of the poly movement. Chris, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Well, I think one of the first questions when I hear the word polyamory is, are you out there having orgies, Chris? What is really going on?
That's called swinger.
That's a different movement.
That's another show.
But all jokes aside, but I know there's so many people who hear the term poly meaning many and amory meaning love, and think, I have many loves, I have many partners, I have multiple partners at one time. And for some people, that's very off-putting. So, Chris, can you tell us what your definition, or how are you living out this lifestyle that's unique to you?
Well, that's two separate questions. First, the polyamory part is what some people call a lifestyle. When you have a lifestyle or any type of alternative lifestyle, whether it be part of the LGBTQ plus community, whether it be alternative multi partners, BDSM, all of those different genres. Everybody has things that just kind of float their boat a different way, and what I always say, different strokes for different folks, right?
Facts, big time, absolutely.
Literally and figuratively.
So for me, it's been something that I've attempted. Relationships are all work, whether you're monogamous or whether you're polyamorous or whatever you do. Relationships are still work, and they involve imperfect people usually. And so it's the attempt to try to have and express multiple loves in different places. And a lot of people confuse that with sexual love, and that's not always the case. Grandma, auntie, all of them had an uncle that used to come over the house on the right way late in the game. And at a certain point, it's all about companionship and how well you feel about communicating with one or more people, and how you love. So that's what I have attempted to do over the past 10 or 11 years or so.
Chris, let me ask you something. So just, having casual conversation with friends, we've had these conversations on the poly lifestyle and poly dating, and I feel like, in a general sense, most people who don't know much about this world, when they hear poly, they're thinking, oh, that's just another way for or another label for swinging or friends with benefits. So what would you say to that?
Well, in the world of swinging, which was my initial foray into what this is all called. What this all called falls under the category is ethical non-monogamy. And ethical non-monogamy is it takes where you ethically talk to your partner or partners about your interests and your goals and where you see your relationship and your life going, and how that person can be involved in helping you with that. And you know, once you decide, I mean, what I basically say is most relationships fail on cheating, whether it be physically cheating, whether it be emotionally cheating, whether it be just we, you know, grow apart and set our gaze somewhere else that we're getting a need fulfilled. Not all needs are sexual, especially the older we get. For women, it changes, and for men, it gets worse. So
that's true. Very true.
You know what I'm saying? So at some
Not
point,
always on the same page, are we, Chris?
hey, you know what I'm saying? It's one of life's evil things. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I feel that, you know, being honest and open with people, and you know that you deal with, and you know, not forsaking past acquaintances. A lot of my former lovers that, you know, I'm no longer intimate with, I would still consider having love for them and them love for me, and we call and talk. You know, they know my partners now, and so it's just all about communication and making lasting friendships first. You know, not putting yourself in a situation or a relationship with anyone that you don't consider a friend if you're not in a relationship. And you know, after 2 failed marriages, I found that, you know, just being open and honest about what my desires are and what my goals are with more than one person helps keep you on track better. So I have I'm listening to you.
I'm sorry. I mean,
Okay.
I was going to say that just brought up a question for me is how do you have that conversation? So I got turned on to a show called Compersion on
Love that show.
YouTube.
Yeah, right.
I add some more money to the kitty because I got to find out what happens the rest of season 2. I'm like, why did we stop at 5 episodes in season 2?
Nelsa,
I'm hooked.
hey, Nelsa, they did that all wrong.
Yes.
That couple did that all wrong.
Yeah, because the acting is good, the script is solid, and I'm like, that
the script is solid, and the script proves a point that I don't care how many books you read, how many blogs you subscribe to, how much information you take in. A polyamorous relationship or polyamorous relationships are relationships, and relationships take work.
Yes. Yes.
You know, relationships take work. Any relationship takes work.
Especially transition from one to another. So I guess for me, it sounded like you started out as a monogamous man, in theory at least.
Right.
How did you say to your partner, or were you with the partner at the time when you decided, I want to try something different?
Well, that was yeah. There was with both of my wives, and I'll put this out there like that. I had a question that I presented to both of them. The question went like this: if one day I was paralyzed in a horrible accident from the neck down and nothing worked, okay, and I had to live the rest of my days that way, and we were still married, if sexually I could not perform, there is no way on this earth that I would want you to not be able to have your sexual needs met. Right? So, in a position of that happening, what would be our options? Now, those were very, very Christian marriages, and the common Christian answer would be, I stick with my husband, sickness and health and all of that, and I'll just go without. To which I said, no, you won't, and you can't.
Chris is like, the hell with that.
Right.
Hell
I don't want
to.
Just because I can't, don't mean we can't come to an agreement or find somebody that can fill the void of something that I can no longer do, and that we can both enjoy. Just put me over in the corner in my wheelchair, and I'll watch y'all go at it and watch you have fun and enjoy yourself, right? And I'll be fulfilled. I'll be fulfilled in my head on my wife still being sexually satisfied. And so that led me into a world of thinking, well, if I feel that way, then there's got to be a way that feels that way. And the word compersion, based on that show, is a word that not many people know that much about. But it's a concept. It's not an original word. It's very loosely placed in a dictionary here and there. But that word just basically means the opposite emotion of jealousy. And if you grew up, I grew up playing tennis and was a pretty good tennis player as a teenager. If I went to one of my kids or one of my grandkids, when I have those, if I have them, if I go to a tennis match and see them out there playing their heart out, am I going to be jealous that they still have the legs to do it and can play in the heat? Or am I going to love that they're loving what they're doing? And if they decide not to play tennis, then if they play basketball, am I mad because they didn't do what I wanted them to do? And that's somehow or another the control that has been embedded in the most monogamous relationships. The control of what you do with your mind and what you do with your body. And for the most part, most of us are some way non-monogamous. Most men are, I can pretty much guarantee that.
Do you even think that's natural? There's
monogamy is a learned behavior. We were taught monogamy. We were taught that you have to be husbands of one wife and wives of one husband, and one woman, men and women. But in the mammal world, mammals, especially humans with much higher forming and evolved brains, are not naturally monogamous. Men were created to expand the species. Women were created to expand the species, but not too much. So women are the control of that.
That word is a good word.
Yes, it's a great word.
We've talked a lot about on relationships. We've been talking about toxic relationships, how you get involved with somebody and they want to control you as a where does unconditional love fit into a dynamic of a relationship? Even with children and parents, if kids don't do what you say, you punish them because you're bigger. If somebody is an employee and they don't do what you say, you write them up because they thought of a plan that worked better for them than what you told them in the training. So control is such to me anyway, it's my personal opinion, it's sometimes the reason why people get into relationships, because I want somebody who listens to me and allows me to control the tempo and dictate everything about the relationship. But if we're two individuals who come together, and Poppy and I were talking about this today over his celebratory birthday dinner, compromise should be a part of the word. And to me, after learning that word compersion, the opposite of jealousy, I'm like, isn't that where we should be trying to evolve to, and I think we should be. So I'm just very curious, like, what are you looking for out of multiple partners? You know, why do you feel like one person can't meet all of your needs? Because I think that's what some people ask all the time.
Okay. And the answer to that question is, what's your favorite meal, Nelson? What is your
My
favorite meal? Like, if you could lay it down on the table right now, what would it be?
I have more than one.
Okay. Your favorite one. Just pick a great one.
Okay.
You know, we talking chitlins
Okay.
and cornbread and rice, or we talking
That's up there. Not the
If that's
lifestyle.
up there, okay, let's just say, let's go fancy. Let's say lobster and
my mama's fried okra, greens, deviled eggs, her chicken, and yeah, she would put cornbread and some pintos with that. That honestly is one of my absolute. And if she has some fried green tomatoes, I'm a Southern girl, and so that would be my ultimate favorite meal. I used to ask her for that all the time, and some mac and cheese when I would come home from college. So I would want that same meal every single time I came home from school.
All right. So what if a man came along and told you that you had to eat that every day for the rest of your life?
It wouldn't probably be my favorite after a while.
I see where Chris is going.
Every day for the rest of your every day. What we having for breakfast? Fried green tomatoes and fried okra and black-eyed peas. What we having for lunch? Fried green tomatoes and black-eyed peas and fried okra. What we having for dinner? Oh, let's go out. Let's eat nice tonight. Let's go out and eat nice tonight.
Something different, not nice. It doesn't have to be nice, but different.
And at the restaurant, on the menu, is fried okra and fried green tomatoes. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, at the height of it all, you know.
But what about discipline, Chris? That's what the people keep saying. You ought to have the discipline.
Why?
To be, that's
Why?
Why? More than one woman.
Why?
I'm just telling you what the people say.
I would ask the people, why do I have to have that discipline?
You know why? Because I feel like society, religion, and all this stuff has been programmed into us to believe that. But if you look at human biology dictates that we want to spread our seeds. And like talking earlier, men, listen, I'm not going to say any names, and I've been married before. And even when I was married, I still found myself suppressing those urges of being attracted to other women. And I can assure you that I've talked to other men who are in relationships or who are happily married who still get drawn and attracted by other women, even though they are happily married.
And even if women would say the same thing if they were honest. They would say, there are men that I have found attractive, even though I'm wildly attracted to my husband. I think women would say the same thing. I think you're both right. You know, I got to play devil's advocate on the team though today. But I think that's, again, like, while we're having this conversation,
I'm having an audio problem. Excuse me, Nelsa. I'm having an audio problem.
Okay.
There it is now. It's better now. Okay. Gotcha.
We're just talking about, you know, what makes it such, for some people, I think, why is it off the table? And I think if people really knew, biblically and any other religion, men had multiple wives back in the day. Like monogamy, I've learned through some research, is a relatively new term. Polygamy was the order of the day in ancient societies, and it was for dynastic reasons. You were marrying to be able to keep wealth in the family, to be able to have a support team, where one man had a support system. And Sister Wives, if you want to talk about some of those shows, there was a support team, and it wasn't about jealousy and having one person be, you know, just me and you. I think that's more of a European concept that came through, you know, making sure that whoever the kid was, I knew he was my kid, and I'm passing it through my line. So it was a more European concept when you look at historical data. So, you know, when people say it's wrong, well, it wasn't always viewed that way. you know, it was for societal reasons that polygamy worked. And so polyamory is not new.
Chris, let me ask you something. This is something that I've always been curious about with that lifestyle. So let's say that in your love triangle, you have 2 or 3 ladies that you are dating, and it's your birthday, Chris. And one lady has particular plans that she wants to make for your birthday. But then lady number 2 or number 3 also have their own ideas of what they want to do with Chris for his birthday. So my point is, how you divide your time so that you don't feel that nobody is getting the short end of the stick and everybody is getting your attention. How do you balance that? Because that to me seems, I mean, hell, it's even difficult with one woman trying to devise devoting time. How do you do it with 2 or 3 women that you might be dating as far as your time?
It still work.
You celebrate a birthday month. Next question. I'm a Leo. My birthday is on the first day of the Leo sign, and I'm a huge Leo fan. So I celebrate Leo all month. So my birthday month starts about a week before Leo, and it rolls right on through Leo, and it goes Yeah, I celebrate a birthday month. That's how I work it out. If that helps anyone, I'll bill you for that later.
Chris, I'm pretty sure you're not going to have too many people push back on that, because if I celebrate my birthday for a month straight, that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah,
and
I celebrate my birthday.
Join the celebration. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I had a ball. I had a ball this past year.
I know, right? I mean, hell, Chris just sold me on it.
I had a ball. Let me tell you what, I had a great 2021 birthday month. It was great. July and August was amazing. But I'm gonna go back. Let me go back to something that Nelsa said for a second.
Okay.
Because you brought up a couple of points when you mentioned controls that have worked their way into our lives. 2 of the biggest controls that we have ever known as humans both begin with R. I call them the 2 R's: religion and relationships. Religion is a control that taught that if you have a relationship, that you must be married, one person, rest of your life, and that's it.
The end.
And that is the end. Until death do you part. That's a control. And relationships, even from with atheistic people, involve control. How dare you look at that man's muscle chiseled chest
on the beach.
On the beach. How dare you look at that when I have this round mound of brown over here laying right next beside me? What do you see? What do you see in that? What do you see in that? And to which she replies, the same thing you saw in that bikini that just walked here about 5 minutes ago that you tried not to look at. So, or were acting like you weren't looking. So, in that regard, to break the control means to communicate more and to be open to communication. Man, she looks nice. Oh, I noticed that too. You know what I'm saying?
It's free.
Dang.
It's because
You know
now
what I'm saying? Like, dang, cuz he swole, ain't he? To which she can say, yes, he is. And I say, enjoy the look, babe. You know what I'm saying? Because what is it to look? And even in the opportunity that someone finds someone that they desire or want to spend time with, whatever the case may be, that's all up to them. I mean, if that's how they feel they want to see things and enjoy life, then please do. I don't want to hold anybody back from that.
Chris, Thank you so much. This was a great conversation. I think that I definitely see a part 2 coming up down the road, but this was a very fruitful, rich conversation, and we will do it again. I appreciate you, sir.
All right. Most
Yes.
definitely. Thank y'all for having me join you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us today on the Relationship Cycle with Jorge and Nelsa. Do you have show ideas? Email us at jorgeandnelsa@gmail.com. Follow us on Spotify or anchor.fm for more great shows.